Dr. Hovind, I love your doctoral thesis. I've torn it to pieces with house and gaffle. I can't remember when I last pissed myself laughing. It's a good thing the thesis mopped the piss off the floor.
Welcome to part 50 of this read-through and peer review of Kent Hovind's doctoral dissertation, which was published on wikileaks.org on December the 9th, 2009. If you have not yet seen the previous installments in this series, then I recommend that you go back and see those first, as in this episode I will start off exactly where I finished off in the last. In the last episode, Kent showed us exactly how little he knows about the scientific method, and how he knows bugger all about genetics. In this episode, he continues that trend, picking on the good old-fashioned fruit fly. Take it away, Kent. We have developed, for instance through the fruit fly experiment that went on for many years, flies with no eyes, flies with red eyes, flies with rumpled wings, flies with no wings, but never anything but another fly. Well, Kent, what was it you thought they were trying to develop? Did you think they were trying to develop a new form of potato? Some kind of not a fly? No. I think they were trying to develop flies with no eyes, no wings, red eyes, or rumpled wings, and see how those genetic anomalies were passed through the various different generations within the population. But that's just me. What do I know? I spent years studying it at university. You read a high school book. Of course you know more about it than me. But anyway, it was always a fly that was less likely to survive in the wild. How well could a fly that couldn't fly survive? Well, Kent, the answer to that lies basically in the environment that the fly finds itself in. If the environment is such that the fly is far more likely to survive if it doesn't fly, then a fly that doesn't fly or can't fly is more likely to survive and therefore pass on its genes. It's pretty simple, really. But carry on. Evolution teaches that things gradually increase, and yet there is no experimentation to back it up. Really, Kent? Exactly what gradually increases? Simply saying that things gradually increase is of no use whatsoever. And as for there being no experimentation to back this up, then back what up, Kent? That a thing increases? What thing? And increases by how much? Let's be specific, Kent. This is, after all, your doctoral dissertation. But anyway, no one has ever done one experiment to prove any phase of macroevolution at all. Yes. 2 points in there. There's no such thing as macroevolution. That was a term dismissed a very long time ago. What you call macroevolution is exactly the same as what you call microevolution, and what we call evolution by natural selection. And if, as you assert, no one has ever done one experiment to prove it, then it can be also equally said that nobody has ever done one experiment to disprove it either. After all, an experiment either proves or disproves something. So, essentially, by your own words, what you're saying is completely unproved. In other words, Kent, you're just making shit up again. But, anyhow, Kent's next paragraph is just one long collection of dumb. I'm going to try and read through it without commenting and let the viewer or reader make their own mind up. The effect that evolution has on science, I think, is devastating. America is rapidly losing ground in the world market in our science students. We are turning out students that many other countries are able to beat in academic scores and academic knowledge because we waste so much class time and textbook time on this dumb idea of evolution. It cannot be proved. Oh, I give in, Kent. I've got to comment. Kent, the reason that American students are losing ground against so many other students from other countries is because people like you literature's fucktards, spend so much time and money trying to get your Bronze Age nonsense taught in class that teachers, well, in order to avoid the controversy, they skirt over it. They don't teach it fully. Idiots like yourself put out that much misinformation that, well, the general population just doesn't actually understand evolution. And that is amazing in itself, because it's such a simple concept to grasp. As I've said in a previous video, science companies, people who are looking for scientists, are not looking for a scientist who can recognize a design. They're not looking for a researcher who can quote scripture. And they're not going to accept God did it as an explanation. If you're going to teach science students Bronze Age myths and bullshit, then don't be surprised when the rest of the world just doesn't take you seriously. You really are doing students a very great disservice. But continue about evolution. There is no observation. There is no experimentation. It does not belong in the science classroom. It has a tremendous effect on our scientific program. It hinders right thinking. We teach students, hey, you are going to be a scientist. Now only believe what you can observe. Yes, Kent, as opposed to believing that a magical sky fairy did it and he had a magic garden with a talking snake. None of this is observable, provable, and there's absolutely no evidence for any of it. But you should believe it, because it is written in a very old book written by goat herders who lived in the Middle East several thousand years ago. So of course it must all be true. Because it says it's true, and we can't possibly doubt that. Anyway, but yet we teach them evolution, which we cannot observe. Yes, you can, Kent. That is absurd. Yes, it is, Kent. We waste a tremendous amount of money trying to prove evolution. No, Kent. I think what you'll find is that you waste a lot of money trying to disprove it. You see, Kent, evolution, as in evolution by natural selection, otherwise known as Darwinian evolution, has been an integral part of science now for about 150 years. Over that 150 years, there have been scientific advances at the rate faster than there has ever been before in the history of mankind. These advances have been made in part by theories such as the theory of evolution. And if you wish to remove that theory from science, then you might as well turn the clock back 150 years. Say goodbye to effective medical treatments, for instance. And virtually every breakthrough that has been made in the field of biological sciences over that self-same period. In fact, Kent, I'm quite sure that you yourself rely on so many things that are derived from a proper understanding of evolution in your daily life. But if you want to live without them, then you're welcome to go back to the Bronze Age, if you wish.